What is going on, y'all? This is the Caveman. I'm here with Football with Oz and a very special guest in Theo Ash for episode 113. I think this will be of Against the Blitz, and we are very excited to have Theo on for this episode. We're doing our Summit series again, which is just our own spin on positional rankings, and today we're looking at the wide receivers and going through a bunch of different miscellaneous categories to get unique and find whatever different conversation we can run into to try and be as diverse with it as we possibly can. But if you're watching this, you're most likely familiar with our guest. But Theo, thank you very much for taking the time. If you guys are interested in checking out his stuff, it will be linked down below. But Theo, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on this iconic podcast. You guys are always talking. You guys are always talking some real ball, so I'm excited.
We try to.
We try to.
We never do, though.
It depends, like, what we're
Maybe not
into
always.
some nonsense sometimes, but thank you. I appreciate that. We definitely try our best to not bore the people. So I hope that this episode definitely won't. I think this is going to be a very good one. But we do have a bunch of different categories, like I was mentioning before, to get into. And I feel like most of them revolve around active wide receivers, as you would expect them to. But I feel like the one thing that doesn't would be the best one to start with. And that category would be listing the 3 wide receivers that you would want in your ideal 11 personnel set. So to me, when approaching this prompt, if you will, it was more about the cohesiveness of the 3 guys than it was just listing the 3 best receivers you can think of. And I came away with a list of three names that I know Austin and I have definitely kicked around and I've vouched for. But Theo, do you have your ideal trio that you would roll into if you built it?
Let's see. Maybe I would go with my GOAT, Julio Jones. I think he's got to be in there as the best I've ever seen. I've always liked what maybe Tyreek Hill brings to the table, kind of more than anyone else in NFL history, perhaps, with his speed. And I think that he gives you kind of a one-of-a-kind aspect. And then you're thinking kind of a slot, like dirty work, maybe more of a point-of-attack blocker, insert type of guy who can offer more to that. And I might go with Puka Nacua. I don't know. Or like a Hines Ward. I feel like that's a pretty well-rounded receiving core, though, of like X receiver, Julio, Z, Tyreek Hill, and then maybe like Puka as my slot.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty sweet because we tried not to do like Jerry Rice and Calvin Johnson for every single list. So it's nice to see like a Puka mention. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the right. Maybe I would just want Julio and Jerry Rice and Calvin Johnson or something, but maybe not. Maybe not. Although Julio can really block, so he might be in the slot doing the Puka stuff. Maybe even better than Puka. I don't know.
Well, Austin, I feel like you're going to go off the rails here. I'm holding on to my chair here to see where this goes.
I had Julio, but I don't want to copy. So I'll give him the next best tall receiver ever. We're going to go T. Higgins at my X.
Okay.
Staying as my Bengals fan, I think we're going to keep Jamar Chase there.
Oh my God, what are we
I
doing
thought
here?
about doing...
Tyler Boyd.
What do you mean? I thought about doing hypothetical Greg Dortch. I moved it. I think we're going to do Antonio Brown as my separator. So we're going to have AB, Jamar, and T. Higgins.
Unironically, not the worst trio that you
No.
would have mentioned of all-time receivers. That would work.
It would work fantastic. I thought about doing Ocho, and I might just do Ocho instead of Antonio Brown. We're just going to do three Bengals and have my route runner, my physical guy, and my jump ball guy.
That's your theme.
I feel like there might be a polar bear there.
Well, all right. I'll try to keep it kind. All right. I think if you rolled up to an all-time game with that trio, you might get a couple eyebrow raises. But I think in practice, it would actually work a little better.
T. Higgins would get you a bucket, 100%.
Yeah. Are we going against all-time corners too? Or
I don't think it.
What T. Higgins might get locked up.
He's giving Darryl Green some nasty work. I cannot lie.
Well, Theo, I'm glad you mentioned Tyreek Hill because I do feel like that would be someone that has to make it for everybody's list. There's just no one that is going to break the game the way that he did. I feel like there's no way around getting Tyreek Hill in here. And I had Randy Moss on here, and then I had Antonio Brown, so I didn't go too
Very
crazy.
fair.
But Tyreek is somebody that I've always thought was the best receiver in the NFL at his peak. When Justin Jefferson and him were kind of battling back and forth, I thought it was Tyreek just for the sheer fact that he's different. He is different than T. Higgins. So
He's smaller, for sure.
thanks.
In the 13-second game, really before the 13-second of it all, there's the touchdown that put the Chiefs on top before the Bills went on top, which is that Tyreek Hill crosser that he catches and takes to the house. That might be the best play I've ever seen. That play.
I was
It's
in
so
person
good.
there watching it.
You were there watching
Yes.
it? That was different speed, bro. That was crazy.
On the bad side of watching.
Yes,
that.
I'm a Bills fan, so I drove over there with my dad and my brother, and the greatest football game I have seen, I will ever see, and probably one of the best in history. But from a Bills fan's perspective, obviously you can expect.
No, it's ass.
Yeah.
It's one of the worst
Yeah.
games you've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
but every play is just, it was so, obviously everyone has the same experience when watching in person, but you just never knew where the ball was going or what was going to happen, and you're just tracking it with your eyes in real time. When Josh threw that dart to Gabe, I had no idea who was back there. I was so focused on Josh because he's, doing acrobatics behind the line of scrimmage, and then he throws it and you're like, where the fuck is this football going? And then there's just Gabe Davis standing in the end zone. It's like,
Yeah, I think we're both banned from Bills games because last time I went to one, DeMar Hamlin, that whole thing happened at the Bengals game. So
what the fuck?
We gotta just stop.
You told me that. Holy shit.
it's so
Ambulance.
Oh, man. Yeah, maybe we are banned. I haven't been. What was the last Bills game I went to? Oh, I went to the Bills-Patriots whiteout game when they did their rivalry jerseys, and Stephon Diggs lit us up on our own home field.
Oh,
in his
yeah.
return. Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
I've been to a few Bills-Packers games. I think the first Packer game I ever went to was against the Bills in preseason in 2005.
Boy,
Damn.
Holy shit. Who was playing?
Saw
in
some
that?
Aaron Rodgers action as a rookie.
Nice.
I was a little kid, and I remember the Bills winning. And then I also saw a Josh, an early Josh Allen, maybe a rookie Josh Allen game when he sucked. And did they beat the Packers? No, I don't think they may have. They may have actually put up no points. I can't remember.
That is a very likely
That
outcome.
might be.
I feel like I remember Bakari Rambo getting a pick. Maybe I don't remember.
Jesus.
Shut out.
Bakari Rambo. I would imagine a Bills team led by Josh Allen at that time could have put up 0 points. It's very likely. Well, in any event, if we walk through the rest of these categories, I think the next best one we can go with could be just do the pure and simple top 5 wide receiver twos, because this has been a topic in our Discord, and there's been a controversy brewing within the Discord around this entire conversation, and since I'm the source of it, I guess I'll take that away.
Yeah.
And so I'll start with what the top 5 wide receiver twos would be for me. And I have Pickens, who I think is controversially too, but Higgins, Parker Washington, Michael Wilson, and Jameson Williams would be my 5 in that order. And I've been getting crucified for suggesting that Parker Washington is better than Jameson Williams. Crucified. The entire server is on my ass every day about this take. I don't think it's that insane.
I don't think it's insane to project it.
Oh, you're on the other side. Don't even.
I am on the other
don't
side.
walk
You'll
the line
hear my
now.
list.
Don't walk the line
No, 'cause-
now.
Listen, when we talk about what they've done so far, I think it's definitely been J-Bo so far. But projecting wise, that's a different story. Not for me though. It's the same story.
Okay.
Parker Washington, in the JMO and T. Higgins conversations, I don't hate it because he is really stout and good running routes through contact, and he's been reliable catching the ball. He looks like a natural, and he's kind of a bowling ball after the catch too. I don't think I hate it, but I did not put him in my personal top 5. But I think
Ooh.
I have guys like Devontae Adams in there, but I also have a very controversial one in my top 5. I think.
All right,
let's
let's
hear
hear
it.
that one.
So my favorite wide receiver too is Pickens. In second, I have Jordan Tyson. And then J-Mo, T. Higgins, and then Devontae.
Ooh,
Okay.
J-Mo over T also. Wow, so you must hate my take. You gotta hate my take. You just can't say it.
Well, J-Mo's tough to beat because J-Mo is just so fast that I think he makes a lot go for the Lions offense. And once he broke out in 2024, like the offense went to kind of a new level. And I feel like with him, he's such a threat on those end rounds. He's such a threat down the field. He's such a threat like up the seams. It just clears out space for everybody. There's a lot of ways to get him the ball really easily, and he can go a long way with really no risk involved. And I think he's a good route runner too. Like some of the ways he's able to shut routes down and kind of break right after that. Like J-Mo's a really, really, really good player. And I think I have to see more from Parker Washington for me to get convinced that Parker Washington is doing for an offensive environment what J-Mo has done for the Lions since breaking out.
Yeah. I think for my thing, if we were trying to battle Parker Washington versus J-Mo, if someone wanted to like bet money that Parker Washington would have like a better fantasy year next year, like I don't even know if I'd make that bet. But if we're talking which one I'd rather have on my team, it's pretty comfortably J-Mo in my opinion.
Maybe I'm too big on projections because I think that's kind of part of my problem when I run into these takes is I see something and I'm like, I like that. I'm going to say it. And it might not come true for a few months, but as time passes, then it becomes a little bit more digestible. I think this might fall into that bucket, but it's just one of those things where you see a guy move and you just know. Like we joke about, we had the debate when BTJ and Malik were going back at it a couple of years ago. And I was a part of the BTJ camp, which has aged horrendously. But something Austin said at that time is like, you can just tell by the way he moves. He just got it. And there are some players that fall in that bucket for me. And while he doesn't move the same way that Malik does at all, Parker, I just see that similar kind of twinge when he's running routes. And like you look at a guy like Mekhi Lemon is getting all these Amon-Ra comps and such. Like
Sure,
I think Parker's, if you somehow put them together, is a closer Amon-Ra comp than Mekhi Lemon is comfortably. So maybe that's high praise, but I see it a lot more with him than I do a guy like Lemon.
Yeah, Parker. I mean, Parker Washington. I do see like some high end receivers in the way he can catch and transition to a runner. Like it is a little bit Jamar Chasey, I think, a little bit of just like, oh man, he can catch it and immediately get up the field, and he's just very muscle hamster, like kind of rocked up, like he can pluck the ball out of the air. I would say he's smaller than Jamar Chase and just doesn't have that kind of like bowling ball contact balance. It's good, but it's not like Jamar can do anything. Like nothing would surprise me with Jamar Chase. I don't quite feel the same way about Parker Washington. I think.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, Jordan Tyson's definitely an interesting shout. I know that you were big on him. I listened to your guys' episode when you were running through the receivers pre-draft, and I can't remember who your comp was for him. But what is it about Jordan that gets him to 2 before he takes a snap?
This is some projection for you, but I mean, is he even going to be a wide receiver too? Like we'll see. Maybe he'll come in and be better than Olave or something like that. But I think with him, what makes him different for me and what makes him stand out, even as I'm watching the Pickens and the J-Mos and the Adams of the world and Higgins and things like that, it's like I don't know how many NFL guys even pop out of their breaks like he does. Like he is so unbelievably bursty after setting up. You know, if it's an in-breaking route, he'll take that big step outside and really stem that thing outside, and then the burst back in is nuts. Like it is nuts. Or he's flying up the field and then he throttles it down and works back to the quarterback. The burst back to the quarterback, like he puts some real distance between him and DBs in a way that I think could make him one of the league's premier route runners pretty much immediately. And I like his coordination. I like the way he kind of leaps and can sync up his leaping with his hands to high point footballs, and he can track the ball over his shoulder and like take the sideline into account and make some spectacular ones like inches above the ground. I think that he has a lot going for him. And if I'm looking at like all the wide receiver twos, the guys who are second highest paid, like guys like that, I feel like there's some like Odell Beckham upside with Tyson that I would just be willing to swing on. Whereas with the guys in the league today, like we know that they're good and we know what they are, but I feel like Tyson's upside is just so mouthwatering for me that I would sign up kind of sight unseen to make him my wide receiver too above a lot of other guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just an unlucky draw for him to be, or lucky draw to be a Saint, because I feel like he's a wide receiver one conversation for like a lot of the teams that were in that range. We're talking like Titans or Browns or any of them. Comfy wide receiver one. So to be a Saint, like be number 2 to Chris Olave, I think that's only going to help him really. Like take a little bit, like relax off of it, just let him hoop. Like that's the kind of receiver he is to me. Like not maybe initially the wide receiver one, let him get fully healthy. You know, don't give him 150 targets year one.
Yeah.
But he was pre-injury to me like comfortably the best tape of any receiver in that class. And then post-injury it got weird, but pre-injury he was so nasty.
Yeah. He was a top 5 prospect for me in this last class. It was like Bane for me and Downs, of course, and Love. But I think Tyson was right in that tier.
It'll be interesting to see, because I already saw a tweet like 2 weeks ago or something that he didn't practice for maintenance reasons with his hamstring, and obviously the quote tweet's got to go berserk on something like that when they see it. But it will be interesting to see how it's managed, because that's something that can derail a guy so early on. But didn't Luther Burden have something odd going on preseason that kept him out for a good portion of training camp, or was it just mental like behavioral stuff? There was something with him. There was a lot of like weird shit going on with him preseason, if I remember, and then he obviously broke out later on. So even if it's that, then you wait a little. Who cares? Well, Austin, who was your list here?
I think this is a pretty vanilla list, honestly, compared to my others. I think I'm going to keep George Pickens at 1. I'll be a little biased. Have T. Higgins at my 2. Devontae Smith at my 3, J-Mo at my 4, and I got to give respect to Devontae Adams at my 5.
That's fair. I didn't list Devontae Smith just because I think A.J. Brown's pretty much gone. But I want to acknowledge the fact that he wasn't forgotten, I guess.
You're right. Yeah. I just haven't seen him as a wide receiver. I've only seen him as receiver 2, so like I have no idea where to rank him among the ones. So until A.J. Brown is employed by someone else, I'll probably keep it vanilla.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, let's do what I think will be a fun way to get into some conversation. We're doing a category that is what's the deal with, and fill in the blank. And I have a few receivers that I wanted to look at, but I figured some of them might come up for you guys. Austin, did you have somebody that you wanted to pick our brains about and kind of have a conversation surrounding?
I mean, I had a couple. There's some that were like just didn't get involved at all, and some that kind of fell off. I think the most interesting to me was the fall off of Brian Thomas Jr. And it's like it was a much talked about thing the first couple weeks of the year, and then it just got accepted that he was like not good all of a sudden after like a 300-yard rookie season. So I'm super curious if you guys just think that he just sucks now, but he just isn't good anymore, or if there was something more sinister afoot with Brian.
I just felt like he had some serious issues like going over the middle and catching the ball. That to me seemed to be the biggest problem. And Trevor Lawrence, he'll try to fit that thing into some tight windows, right? And just so often at the beginning of the year, like there was something really wrong with the way he would attack those situations. And so now it's like, well, he can run goes, he can run double moves, he can do kind of things like that maybe. But a lot of a wide receiver's route tree is digs and slants and stuff that might go into the teeth of the defense. And I thought I thought it was really concerning overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't know how you practice that. I don't know how you get more comfortable getting hit in the head or getting your ribs broken or like getting the wind knocked out of you. Like, that's not really something you can simulate in the off season or really work on. It's just something that you've got to figure out. It's something you got to almost turn your brain off instead of working on. So I'm not sure how that specific issue alleviates itself. I guess that's kind of where my head is at on Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, there's no doubt that a good portion of it is just mental. I also think that a big portion of it might have been, I don't want to say fantasy driven, but when you're playing a season, especially as a rookie, where your expectations aren't going to be sky high, and you're playing in games from behind a lot with a quarterback that isn't your starter and Mac Jones, and you're getting probably a lot of easy targets. Like, I don't know off the top of my head because I didn't go back and watch or look at the numbers, but I would like to imagine a lot of what Mac Jones was throwing was a lot safer, especially more designed just to simply get the ball in Brian's hands. I could just remember highlights off the top of my head where a lot of it was more catch and run than it was, catching a ball in some traffic. So I think that definitely played a big part in it too. It's just a season where you're just trying to get by. You're just trying to get the ball into your rookie receiver's hands and see what he does with it. And that probably led to some uncomfortable conversations that I put him in after a season that maybe wasn't deserved ultimately if we actually sat down and watched it instead of just looking at the numbers, which I think most people were guilty of doing given how good he was statistically. Right. But with that said, I think if you maybe went back and compared every route he ran from 24 to 25, there probably was a lot less targets in that congested area. Even if he was running the routes, Mac probably wasn't even trying them. So
yeah, it was just a weird, like, we've seen guys be up and down. Like, we've seen guys battle injuries and be up and down, but generally, like, when they start off really hot, like, they can kind of come back to it at some point. Right. We see some kind of usage where they're like, we see an element of that player again, but for him, for how mental it was kind of concerning. It was like, oh, he's just broken. Yeah. Like, BTJ is gone. Like, we just have Brian Thomas now. And it was so weird.
Yeah, it's like Marvin. It's like him and Marvin are dealing with the same, like, ailment of, like, mental brain farts and just the inability to almost remain focused to some degree without being concerned of, like, whatever else is going on around him. But I feel like MHJ is just a conversation that is so drawn out. Like, that was obviously somebody that would fit a prompt like this pretty comfortably, but I feel like that's just such a beatdown conversation that I wanted to go with somebody that he's also kind of beat down, so I'm gonna avoid it. What about DJ Moore? What do we think about DJ Moore in Buffalo? Someone take the floor from me because I'm not happy about it. You muted yourself. There you go.
I think with DJ Moore, he probably maybe he doesn't get the ball ripped away from him by like Jalen McMillan at the end of the year, right? Yeah. And I feel like with the Bills, you just never know what the piece will be that like brings them over the top. Like, it really just needs to be one big play in the playoffs, and like you're kind of good to go because you've got Josh Allen and whatnot. But I don't know. I think at the same time, DJ Moore has really not earned a lot of respect, and I think that things about his work ethic and effort are very real. Like, I can't get it out of my head when Caleb Williams was scrambling 2 years ago now. The fact that he went and sat on the bench in the middle of the play. Like, who really does that? I don't know. And then I think he stopped running his route on the playoff game-ending interception against the Rams. Like, if he would have kept running his route, like we saw Rashid Shaheed do in the first Seahawks playoff game, I think, versus the 49ers. Like, it was a very similar throw, very similar coverage, very similar route concept. And it wasn't complete, but the fact that he ran through the route and through the ball, it drew a DPI because it was kind of this bang-bang play at the catch point. Like, that was kind of what it seemed like DJ Moore was avoiding, was like, oh, that's not a very good throw. The safety's driving on it. Like, I don't have much of a chance. I'm going to stop. But, like, what if he hit you too early, right? What if he hit you and didn't get the pick in that case? Like, that is what concerns me with DJ Moore is at the worst times, or maybe not the worst times, but at any time, it's unacceptable to stop running or stop trying. And we've just seen multiple instances of him doing that, including in the biggest moment at the biggest stage. So I think he's still a talented receiver. I think he's an upgrade over what the Bills have had. But with the Bills' whole offseason and their whole roster construction, like what I want to see is super team allegations. I want to see this ring doesn't count because there is a super team. That's what will win you a ring, when you have Chris Jones and when you have Tyreek Hill and when you have Travis Kelce, right? And I just don't think the Bills are putting together a super team. They're maybe putting together a better roster than what they've had in the past. But I don't know if Moore or any of the moves they've made is quite what will get them, over the hump.
Yeah, that's kind of like what we've been saying the last couple weeks about the Bills is like, yes, it's better than watching Josh Palmer and the ghost of Brandon Cooks running routes like for like 95% of your game, but like DJ Moore, Bradley Chubb, like these being like your guys that you choose to get yourself over the hump that you've been sitting on for like half a decade now. It's just it doesn't move the needle for me really. Like obviously he's an upgrade what they've had since Stephon Diggs, but it's still not like what a wide receiver one should look like, especially when you have Josh Allen, who's probably in his prime, playing the best football of his career, playing some of the best football we've seen a quarterback play. And it's just DJ Moore, here's Kincaid, here's Josh Palmer, here's Brandon Cooks. Like, it's just, it feels lazy.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And I think the part about DJ Moore that concerns me is it fits so much of what Joe Brady likes to do.
Yeah.
And it's almost like leaning back into a bad habit. And we want to see some different flavor added to the offense, and instead we get the same spice just elevated. And
he'll look good running the shallow cross on mesh and catching
Right.
it, and not being as good at yak as it used to be. So probably not really being electric in that area, but kind of being linear, explosive, someone that if you give him a runway on a cross or something like that, like, yeah, he can put some distance behind himself and the defender. But he's not as good at the catch and run stuff as he used to be.
No, not at all. And that's what they're going to try and do, because that's just what Joe Brady's offense looks like all the time. And it's like Shakir's always at the top of the league in screen targets. DJ Moore, I think 2 years ago, led the league in screen targets. Last year he had a good chunk. It's just the same. It's going to be the same song and dance with a different player. And I went on a small rant about it like a month ago on one of our episodes, and I did make a mention about like kind of what you referenced, how the Bills are not looking for a player to have 1,400 yards in the regular season. They're looking for one guy that'll appear in that one moment that loses them the game historically. And it's like on one hand, I do think of those plays you mentioned, Theo, but on the other hand, he did also catch PJ's fucking dart for 70 yards. 3 years ago, through his helmet, cost them the extra point. But he also caught the
only guy to ever get penalized for that. I swear, people take their helmets off, and and the Bengals, Aaron Donald, he was pointing, "Ring me." That was where was his helmet? I don't remember a helmet. Did he get flagged? No one gets flagged except for DJ Moore.
Well, he also caught the touchdown against your Packers too. So I know that he
did.
He does have like. It's weird. He's got like the yin and yang of moments where it's like he's been on the right side of some very large and very impressive plays, but also been the butt end of some brutal like you just can't do that type of play. So now I leave myself kind of conflicted as to how I feel, because do I think DJ Moore is going to have 1,200 yards? No, I think he might have 800, 900, but does he make that play? It's like we're going to wait all season long just to see if DJ Moore catches the ball against McMillan down in the secondary. It's just what the season's reduced to.
Yeah, he'll have big moments, but it's like, could you have picked Chris Brazzell, and could he be on the receiving end of a Josh Allen post for
Yeah.
a fraction of the cost of DJ Moore, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's
salary wise, like it doesn't take that much to be on the receiving end of a big Josh Allen play.
No, just historically, like the closer you get to 30 years old, just the less moments you have that are on the good side. And as DJ Moore is starting to hit 30, like we're talking about his moments as of like 3 years ago, he was caught a PJ Walker ball, but like that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
DJ Moore was 1,300-yard DJ Moore back then, and we haven't seen that DJ Moore in quite some time.
No, we haven't. It's just a big pipe dream over here in Buffalo. They all smoke the Joe Brady Brady pill, and it's all gonna work. But I'm skeptical. Theo, did you have a receiver that fit this prompt?
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering about Travis Hunter a little bit, bringing it back to the Jaguars and what his role is going to be. I'm still a big fan of Travis Hunter, the receiver, but it doesn't sound like maybe we'll be getting as much of that. But like, I don't know, because I think that he's maybe the best yak threat in the league outside of Jamar Chase, with the ball in his hands. He's pretty nuts, and he's also got as good of hands as I've ever evaluated coming out of Colorado, right? And if you're, maybe a top 3 or let's say conservatively top 10 player with your hands and after the catch combined, like that, it's a pretty ridiculous upside at wide receiver. But I don't know if he can play there. I don't know if he can do both. Like, I don't know if he could be quite the player that he was billed as, costing 2 first-round picks and being what, second or third overall, second overall,
2.
I mean, maybe one of the most expensive players ever drafted. So I'm very curious to see if he ends up living up to that hype, because I think it's within him, but at the same time, he's kind of behind schedule.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, he has the feet, he has the hands. He moves the way a really, really good receiver moves. I'm like, hey, that's Garrett Wilson. Oh, that's actually Travis Hunter. Like, it looks like somebody of that caliber, and that would be amazing. But unfortunately, or fortunately for the Jags, they have a pretty stacked receiver room with like high-end receiver talent. That's up for debate, but they have a lot of dudes, and they have 3 guys that play a lot, and 3 guys that are going to get a lot of targets. So, and then you look at their corner room, and it's generally like guys that a lot of regular football fans haven't heard of before. So it's kind of like, where do we need this guy that we just traded our entire future for, and then drafted Nate Borkature in the 2nd round? Like, we really, really need high impact from this player. And I think at corner, it's the easiest avenue for that. But like, this was the best corner and the best receiver in his draft class. Like, this is a monster player that can be really, really good at both. And I don't blame him for sticking at corner, but like, I think that he could be a really, really talented receiver if they were to let him.
Yeah. Yeah. The other guy would be maybe Carnell Tate, being the 4th overall pick, the first OSU player taken with one of the lowest target rates of kind of the first round and that high class of receivers. Like, he was very much second fiddle to Jeremiah Smith, but he was very efficient when he was targeted at OSU, of course, but just not much experience as like the dude that dictates coverage. Now he's the 4th overall pick in Tennessee. And when you're game planning against Tennessee, one of the worst teams in the league, like, yeah, let's maybe go after their 4th overall pick. Like, how will he respond to not only the jump in skill level, but also the jump in the pecking order, and how high he is on, I think, the scouting report is another thing I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is getting a boost in responsibility, and it's slightly concerning because I feel like we've seen the blueprint over the last like 5 years, especially with the wave of Allen Lamar, Josh Hurts, where Allen Mahomes, you get it, where it's get your young quarterback his top target, and then that's kind of where everything explodes and takes off, and you kind of benefit. And the Titans are taking the avenue of a rookie receiver to do that with their 2nd year, pretty raw quarterback. So it's concerning for the development of Ward just as much as it's concerning to Tate, because then you're just leaning on 2 guys that are just inexperienced as a whole to help each other out. And I think I was fearful for Ward going into his rookie year just because of what he was dealing with. Thankfully, just the nutcase he is, the hard worker he is, and the tools he has, he was able to survive. I just am worried now. Like, it's going to be the receiver is supposed to be the one the young quarterback can lean on, and now it's going to be probably a little bit more of a even teeter-totter situation, if you will, when I think that's kind of dangerous for the projection going forward, especially when you're looking at a guy like you mentioned, Carnell Tate, who didn't have much weight on his shoulders as far as what coverage he was drawing and, you know, what type of targets he's going to be getting. And Tate was a downfield winner. That was his bread and butter.
Yeah.
So now you're going to be asked to win in the intermediate parts of the field. You're going to be asked to win one-on-one on third down a lot more than you ever probably have in your entire career against better corners. And that's where the experienced, good route-running receiver would help out the quarterback, but now it's going to be just as much on Cam Ward to help out his receiver. So I wasn't a fan of the pick. I didn't even like Carnell Tate enough to be a top 10 pick, to be honest, let alone the fourth overall.
I liked Tate a lot. Like he is a professional. Like, he is a very sophisticated wide receiver that can do big boy things. But like the fit between like Dayball / Cam Ward / like Calvin Ridley and Wan'Dale Robinson, like everything, like it felt like they just spun a wheel and picked their team at random. And I really like the way that they're like that Calvin, like, not Jesus Christ, not Calvin Ridley, that Carnell Tate plays. Like, I really like a receiver that understands how to use a route stem as a rookie. But like Dayball and Cam Ward are probably like the last combo of coach and quarterback that like really would maximize that to me. So it just doesn't feel like a very good fit to get a lot of production year one from him. Like I wasn't even as high on Tyson, but like Tyson felt much closer to what they needed, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What do you think the hang up is between Tate's skill set and like Dayball and Ward?
To me, it's just like it was a really weird vision of mine. Like, it's just like envisioning it just doesn't make sense to me. But I think a lot of it is precision. Like, I feel like with Carnell Tate, everything for him is going to be like step, like precision,
sure,
back to the ball. Like, everything is very calculated. It's much less like, I'm trying to think, like playground ball. I think Cam Ward is very playground ball. He doesn't get the ball out super fast. And to me, Dayball's not like a get the ball out fast kind of coach as he is. So it's more of like just like a weird clash of styles to me.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I mean, not that it happened too often at Ohio State, but I could see, I've seen a lot of other receivers in the past where I'm watching him, and one of my favorite traits that I see in a receiver is one that I feel like is very, very quarterback friendly, and it's very frequent that you'll see a guy come back to the ball or you see the quarterback look for their guy, but it's just not something you often saw with Tate, but it was also just because you probably didn't have to, because it was going to be Smith /
Yeah. I don't know though. I think he had a lot of production like on the sideline in a scramble drill mode. Like he did find ways to get kind of to that spot, and he would make a lot of toe tapping grabs there. I think when I think of Carnell Tate, I think of the vertical routes, and I think of that. What I don't think of is so much the intermediate stuff, like you say, is a vertical threat. Once things start to swirl, he's so reliable with his hands, right, that like if you're going to throw it up to someone, Carnell Tate's a good option because he catches everything. But the route run, like versus press, you can't call like press across the board against Ohio State because like Jeremiah Smith is certain to cook you, and so is Carnell Tate against 90% of college corners. But I did think like when he was, I think his blending physicality within his route running, like subtle push-offs and dealing with press and things like that, and rises in his pad level, like severe ones before breaking intermediate. Those are the things that really are going to need to get ironed out for him, to me, in my mind. But also Cam Ward, yeah, definitely gotta maybe get the ball out a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I'm a Cam Ward believer. But it's just like when we're talking like quarterback to receiver production and like volume, it was a weird vision in my mind to get Carnell Tate like that needed volume of a 4th overall pick. Whereas Tyson, I feel like you were saying, how fast he can get open, he can dominate that intermediate section, and you can get the ball quick, and he can make plays downfield. I was like, that just makes a lot more sense to me. And he kind of has that natural bucket getting, also playground style to him. But
Yeah,
that
he
I think
does.
would really, really work for that.
Yeah, he's definitely a mixtape wide receiver. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's and Cam Ward's a mixtape quarterback, so I
Yeah.
I get what you-
Yes.
exactly where we're going with that. It'll be an interesting watch because I think that pick is going to heavily determine Salah and even Dable's future pretty quickly, because you're putting your eggs in the basket of not just your fourth overall pick, but basically like I said, the development of your young quarterback to begin with. So very, very fearful, to be honest. Well, let's get into some other potentially controversial conversation. We'll look at the top 3 overrated receivers that we would believe fit the description. And Theo, I'm interested to see who comes to mind, because I feel like both of you guys are generally pretty positive in your takes. I feel like I'm always more so to be negative, to be honest. But I want to hear some negativity in a good way.
Sure. I'll be negative about one guy that maybe comes to mind as, I think maybe there's a little bit too much projecting with this guy of it's just a given that he will light the league on fire next year and that it's a foregone conclusion. I hear my podcast co-host Matthew Sponhour just talk about this it's going to happen, and I'm just not quite there with Luther Burden III. I think that he is exciting. He's very explosive. Plus, he can stop on a dime, and those two things are good. But I not sure that I saw. So is Zay Flowers, right? Zay Flowers can do a lot. He's very explosive. He can stop on a dime. He's very strong. But I also don't really think of him as a top. Maybe he's top 20-ish, but I don't think of him as a top 10 or top 15 receiver. I don't think of him as having the potential to go for 1,500 yards or something like that. I think with Burden, he's a little bit skinny yet. I think he still needs to put some weight on his frame. I think that as a mover, it can be a little bit jolty of start, stop. I think there are receivers in Tet and Igbuka in last year's class that I still think are more well-rounded receiving talents over Luther Burden, who I think can be very splashy, and I think he can make big plays and all that. But I'm not sure that I don't think he's as good as Odunze going into next year. I'll say that, and I'm not 100% certain that he's just gonna pick up right where he left off and just explode onto the scene and absolutely dominate the league or anything like that. I think he's a good bet, and I understand being high on him. I just don't. I'm not sure that he's really the next big thing.
Yeah, Burden was a hard journey for me because I wasn't as high on him as a prospect, mostly because of the volume concerns, and his best year was 2 years before he was drafted. So it was just awkward. And then he came in, didn't really do anything for the large majority at the beginning of the year, and then plays his best football down the stretch. So all of our best memories of Luther Burden are over the last couple months of the football season. So he's fresh in our minds, and I think it just really fully depends on how high you have him, I guess. If we're talking top 10, top 15, that's really rich for me as a newly converted Burden fan. But I think if we're talking a guy that can get into the 20s, I think that's still very high compared to how he produced, because he didn't produce all that well compared to anyone else you would have in the 20s. So if we're doing some projection, I think that's a fair spot to put him.
It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, because I think he lives in an offense where if Ben Johnson chooses for him to be the guy, he's going to be the guy, and then the production will blossom, and it will work out in a way where it'll be tough to refute the evidence in a fashion. But it will be one of those conversations where, is it really Luther Burden that's doing the heavy lifting, or is it the concept? Is he just the number one guy? Because it does kind of feel like maybe right now, I think if you polled 50%, if you polled the NFL community or the fans, and you asked them which receiver they thought was better or which one was going to be the number one next year, I think a lot of people would lean Burden over Odunze right now. And it'll be interesting to see how that split kind of works its way. And I might even be on the Burden side because it just didn't seem like Odunze was fully the guy. And like I said, when it comes to production in that offense, that'll be Ben Johnson's decision. It can be whatever nameplate it'll be. If that's the player, then they're going to be the one that gets it.
Yeah.
All right.
How about you, guy? Well, who's your overrated? Who else is overrated?
So I had a player on here that probably doesn't deserve it, but I was thinking about it, and it made a lot of sense to me. And that's Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers, for the longest time, got the underrated tag. And he got he's more than just a slot receiver. He's got the skill set to play outside, and he's got the best hands in the world. He fixed Trevor Lawrence in the Jaguars offense. And I think while that is true to some degree, he brought a level of stability that was really necessary for Trevor because of the highlight reel of drops that we would see after his years. Is just, they were too long. But I get more of a sense of it being like, if we remember the Montez Sweat to Chicago honeymoon, it was like Montez Sweat saved the Bears, the pass rush. Look at Montez Sweat go. It was the same thing. And then after a couple of years now, we're like, all right, Montez Sweat's not enough, yet the Bears just continue to neglect getting another pass rusher. Motivated Deo is going to fix everything. It's the same kind of feel for me with watching Jacoby Myers get traded over to Jacksonville. The perception is all of a sudden Trevor Lawrence got better, the Jaguars blew up, and they were almost beating the Bills. I think Jacoby Myers had a lot to do with that, but I think the narrative that he was the one that truly fixed everything is a little bit overblown, and over time we'll see that kind of level itself out.
Yeah, Jacoby's hard because like he's always kind of just labeled as like the wide receiver one on his team, but like he just can't be the wide receiver one on like a good passing offense. It just like I just don't think he's just dynamic enough as a player. But he is like one of those guys that's so enjoyable to watch because he is so reliable and he does all the little things well. He's very versatile. Like that's why he's so loved by every single team because he can do anything asked of him. It's just like the doing anything like more than what's asked of him is a little bit harder for him, especially reaching pretty close to his 30-year season. I just think like, having any higher expectations of Jacoby Myers than what he has right now would be a lot to ask for.
I think if Jacoby Myers was sent to any other team where he was more leaned on to be like a literal number one that didn't have a bunch of diverse skill sets around him, I think it would have panned out a lot differently. Like if it went to the Bills, well, that might be a bad example because it's just so bad over there. But I don't know. Any other team, insert team in the blank, I feel like if there wasn't as much diverse talent around him and he was leaned on to do more, it might have been a different perception. But like you were saying, Austin, he's not going to do everything and anything you ask him. But because Jacksonville was looking for one specific thing that he was good at, he was able to fill the void, and it kind of led to an overblown perception, in my opinion.
I think that's fair.
Who would you gonna say?
I think it, as with any kind of overrated, underrated conversation, it just does depend like what the expectation is. Like, Jacoby Myers, I think you're barking up the right tree of like Jacoby Myers didn't come in like Micah Parsons and light the world on fire, and that's why Jacksonville went up. Like he stabilized some things, but like it's not like Jacoby Myers is this world shattering threat at wide receiver. But he is very good running the in-cuts, catching the ball. If you can kind of keep him in your mind as like, he's a high-end role player. Like, he is, but he's not. But I don't see too many people like that hyped about Jacoby Myers outside of Bladenkirk. My podcast co-host who thinks Jacoby Myers is like the pinnacle of professionalism, and like you can't get any better.
Right.
Than that.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad even saying his name for this because it's a negative connotation to some degree, but I don't know.
Sure.
It just was it's just something I wanted to course correct. I wanted to be the guy.
Yeah.
Sorry. To course correct.
That's how it's.
That.
I mean, that's how it's going to be with overrated. I mean, if everyone's rating someone super high, like you're going to kind of feel bad. At least I'll feel bad. That's kind of my next guy, is someone that he's been beloved in the league for being like the underrated guy for so long. But Cortland Sutton, to me, I think reached some conversations for a long time that were just a little. I know. I think just the timing of Sutton too. Yeah. Like, I think like we've always been like waiting for Sutton to do like the next thing, and we've just seen like the exact same Cortland Sutton for a couple of years now. And now that he's hit 30 years old, almost gonna be 31 by the time next season starts, and I think for a long time it was like, yeah, we understand he's not like a crazy separator. We understand he's not like a crazy after the catch winner, but we kind of expected this like dominant ball winner that he has been before. Like we have had times in the league where Cortland Sutton looked like he was one of the most automatic things when you throw a ball to him. And he still very much has that. But I think when I see the ball come to him less, he feels a little bit less reliable than he once used to be. And then on top of that, like not separating, not being a huge volume winner, not being a huge threat after the catch. Like I just don't see this guy that some people think he is, especially when talking like who's receiver one versus him and Waddle. I think I lean pretty comfortable towards Waddle.
Yeah, I think definitely so at this point. I was the biggest Cortland Sutton. Well, this was fantasy driven, to be clear, but I thought he was going to have a big year, and he was well on his way. Like early in the season, he kind of popped off, and then there was kind of this lull, like halfway through, if I remember correctly. And I remember he had 0 points throughout halfway of a game, and the Broncos offense, granted, was just playing terrible football. And I remember he caught a touchdown along the sideline on like a busted coverage for 40 yards, and it kind of saved the day. But I remember that moment specifically because I was thinking like, Cortland Sutton should be the one that's fixing whatever is broken here. Like, Bo Nix is sucking. This team can't move the football. They can't complete a pass. And Cortland Sutton's kind of just becoming a part of it versus being the solution.
I don't know. Again, that's like, who's really overrated Cortland Sutton?
I think me being on this podcast.
Yeah, I definitely have a part in that. Like,
you are guilty.
Yeah, I made like fucking photoshopped pictures of his head on like t-shirts, and it was really bad. Like there was, what was it, like 1212 was the running joke. He was gonna go for 1212. He had 1007, and like I said, he was on his way to start the year. He was rolling. He was rolling. I want to see the numbers before it all died off. But I think the running joke was anytime he scored, I would send the picture of the t-shirt in the chat. And yeah, I definitely was that reason. I apologize. But it looked good.
No, like I'll always love Cortland Sutton. Like it's just, like it depends what you call overrated. Like there could be guys where like some people call them like pure top 10 receivers, and I don't have them there. Like I've talked ad nauseum about, I think Rashee Rice has been overrated by the league for a while because of fantasy purposes. Mm-hmm. But I've talked about that a bajillion times. But Cortland Sutton, like it's hard to get those tough conversations of like receivers that everyone loves and like just never talks bad about, where I kind of feel like I just can't talk super happy about him.
Yeah. I've got one, a big name. How about a big name here?
Ooh.
Is CeeDee Lamb overrated?
I was putting together my list of just the pure top 10 guys, and I found myself having a hard time putting him as high as I might have a couple of years back. And I think the eye-opening reality of seeing what George Pickens was able to do in this offense made it very apparent that maybe CeeDee Lamb and his skill set just isn't good enough to do that or have that sort of season/impact. I mean, it really got to a point where Dak was preferring Lamb. I think I could comfortably say I saw targets, I saw situations where Dak was turning his attention to George Pickens to make a play. And I think part of it with Lamb, maybe it's not even a skill set thing, it's just the drops. Like at the end of the day, the drops are so jarring, and if you're a quarterback, you have George Pickens on the opposite side of the field, you're going to choose George Pickens. And I think Lamb's skill set to some degree might be limiting, but if I had to guess what it is that might have made it so George Pickens heavy at times, I think the drops definitely could have had something to do with it.
The drops are something. I feel like after the catch, he's declined a little bit. I mean, I think there was I don't think there was anything overrated about him in maybe 2023 or
Right.
I mean, especially 2023. But maybe you can look back and say, well, the amount of first downs that he had and the amount of yards that he had something to do with Prescott, like Prescott being his quarterback. And not that you want to ding him too much for that, but like some guys are really good players who can never touch a receptions title or anything like that because like JJ McCarthy is throwing them to the ball like last year or something like that. Of course, Dak is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and we've seen like what Pickens is able to do from Pittsburgh to this year. And I think with CD over the last 2 seasons, I mean, he's been below 80 yards a game both of the last 2 years. He's been under 1,200 yards and 12 each of the last two years after being like one of the more productive guys in the league. And I mean, there was a time when you'd want to hand off the ball to him. There was a time when you'd want him to, catch a bunch of screens. There was a time where his hands were more reliable, but over the last 2 years, like, I just think that he's fallen out of the upper echelon of receivers, like out of the top 3 for sure. And maybe like out of the top 8 for me at the moment, which is a pretty steep fall for someone of his caliber and someone who made first team All Pro and sandwich in between 2 second team All Pros from 2022 to 2024.
Yeah, him. It's just like it depends how hard I'm willing to cling to that 2023 year, because that was like a truly fantastic receiver that I was calling top 3, and I've called top 3 on this podcast before. Like, I think that he was that special, and it's like I don't think he just like overnight got like less athletic, unless he got. I don't think there's like a major injury somewhere in there that just made him worse. It's just he just stopped doing it. And obviously the drops are like a very tangible thing. You can watch and understand that they've gotten worse, but it's hard to understand why like CeeDee Lamb, the athlete, just doesn't even quite look the same. Like you said, after the catch, like still a very talented receiver, still very good at it. But there was a time, like you said, like he was unbelievably dangerous, and they were lining him up in the backfield because he was like a legitimate threat to do things from everywhere on the field. And this year, like it just didn't even feel like he was the most dangerous receiver on his own team.
Yeah.
When the year before we were talking about George Pickens as not a top 10 receiver, and he just kind of came in as the clear-cut wide receiver 2 and worked his way into that borderline receiver 1 role. So it's hard. Like I still very much love the receiver. I still believe in him, but like I definitely not a top 5 receiver for me.
No, I mean you say outside the top 8, and I did kind of double take, but he's also my 9. So I guess I agree. Like I just don't think of it that way.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, wait. I think it might be slightly. Well, we'll never know unless Pickens is gone and Lamb doesn't regress. But it just might be such a like comparison is a thief to some degree. Like George Pickens really was that good, and like how good he is after the catch also probably is just a bit. You're just comparing constantly. I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. And George Pickens really is. You want to talk about one of the best threats after the catch? He is. Like you wouldn't expect it for such a lankier guy that's really good at the catch point, but he can turn and spin on a dime. He runs a comeback to the ball, and he's spinning the right direction because he just feels. He feels the DB so well. He's got a sixth sense. Like I always refer to when Deshaun Watson was not Deshaun Watson of today, and a lot of his best moments were when he just felt. He had feel around what was happening behind him or the pressure. All right.
What'd you say?
Not just, you guys. He just always had a good sense of his surroundings and where to go.
Spatial awareness.
Yes, on the football field.
Yes, on the field. On the field, we're talking here. And I think Pickens has that too, and he's able to maximize it. So I don't know if it's fair to say Lamb's losing a step yet, but I don't know. It's the A.J. Brown conversation just wrapped in a different foil.
He was reading books on the sideline. There's a tangible thing that's like weird now, but CeeDee Lamb, it felt like it was just the same thing, and he just wasn't good anymore.
Maybe
he's still a fantastic receiver.
But I feel like you can say the same thing about Brown though. Like I think you can. I think, although I watched a little bit of Brown just to refresh myself, and I feel like there were a lot of routes where it looked like the same old AJ, but I think it still is the same. I think it's the same kind of conversation, and it's funny that we're having it about them two. And a couple of years back, we were debating whether or not these two guys, were 2 or 3, or they were going head to head in the top receiver conversations, and now we're having the conversation comparing which one is falling off further. And
That's what Kevin Patula will do to a man, dude.
yeah,
It's bad.
Well, he gets those excuses too. So
I know he does.
That's the tough part about the AJ Brown stuff. There's so much fog around it. With the Lamb, it's like, okay, there's no fog. You're playing with Dak Prescott. You have George Pickens next to you. What's the excuse, buddy?
Yeah,
So
it's true.
it's a difficult road to navigate, but Lamb definitely fits this very nicely, I would say. Do you have another one, Austin, that you want to mention? Because I have one more.
I wouldn't say like it's not even overrated anymore, because like I did feel like for a while Emeka Egbuka was being pretty like overrated, not for the production he was putting out, but I think like how he was doing it.
Yeah.
Because to me, when he came into the league, I was under the impression that he was going to be more of a route runner, more of a separator than he was. And a lot of his production was coming on a lot more big plays than I thought was going to be happening. And as the season went, those big plays just kind of stopped. And I think we saw a little bit more stiffness in him than I thought we were going to see as a route runner. A little bit less wins after the catch than I thought we were going to see. So, as that kind of happened, I think we saw the production fall off pretty hard. So, I think people have kind of came around to it that maybe Emeka Egbuka isn't this top 15 receiver, but for a while there were some pretty heavy conversations, and I think some people still pretty heavily believe in those.
Yeah, he was popping off for I think it was the first 4 weeks, right? Because did Evans start the year off hurt, or he got hurt early?
Evans got hurt early, I think. He was in the first games, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more of a matter of who was around, and he just got force fed, and then guys got healthier. And well, no, there was that span of time too where it was like Baker and friends because everybody was dead, and he was also hurt. But
it was like Sterling Shepard and like Tez Johnson, and it was bad.
I'm still an Egbuka guy. I think Egbuka's pretty good.
I think he's good. It's just like how good, like how much higher from now can he be is kind of my question.
That's probably fair. I'd probably put him just outside the. I might say he's top 20, like in the 15 to 20 range in there somewhere. I think he's a pretty good separator. He's kind of like maybe a DJ Moore or something like that, where like he's not the wiggliest separator. He's not someone who's really going to like wow me with like his ankle flexion or like the angles that he's contorting in like mid route, but he's got some good play strength and ability to set you up. He's from Ohio State, so he's pretty good. They're usually pretty good, and I think Egbuka. I think he can get back to those levels. I think that there's a world where the fall off at the back end of the year like rebounds. Maybe not fully to what he was, because he was like leading the league in receiving yards like the first month. Yeah. I don't think he'll lead the league in receiving yards, but he's solid to me. He's more than solid.
Yeah, I think the most shocking part wasn't even like the production. It was just the way that he would like 63 catches for 938. Like he was getting like big plays, and even like in college, it didn't even feel like he was doing that all that regularly. Like he was a lot more of like a volume piece, more of like a safety blanket. And for Tampa, it felt like he was like their big play star. And even down the stretch, like the catches he started to miss, they were still like those downfield balls. Mm-hmm. So like I think I could still see him flourishing more in a more Egbuka friendly environment. Like I still think there is more to that.
Well, I think it's fascinating to talk about a guy like Egbuka and then a guy like Burden, like who has the better second season, Emeka Egbuka or Luther Burden, because we're talking about drastically different schemes here in different environments, but I think a lot of people are heavy on Burden right now, and Emeka's kind of experiencing that lull because, like you were saying, Austin, earlier, it's about what you most recently remember. So, who will it be that has the bigger second season?
My bet would be Egbuka, but that's an interesting question.
I don't know. If I had to place like $1 on it, I think I would place. I would put Burden. I'm not much of a betting man.
$1.
If I was putting $1 down, I think I would do Burden.
It's tough.
If it was like if I had to bet a lot of money, I don't think I would.
Well, that's just not the question.
Because I don't know.
I feel
have
like
no idea.
I feel like whatever the scale is, you could say anything, and you're still going. You're still going burden probably. Like it could be $1 or your life. You still are.
If it was my life, I don't know.
Well, if your life, you're saying I would rather not bet, but like you're still going. The stakes don't really impact who you're betting on. You know.
Yeah. I think Bird was it was so exciting. It's just like I just have to like try and temper my expectations, and I try to repeat that like as I'm trying to rank these guys. Like I understand how freaking good he looked for a couple weeks,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like he only did it for a couple weeks, so it was hard to come to terms with that.
I think it all comes down to who Ben Johnson chooses. I'm very so interested to see what Rome Odunze does. That's how I feel about it. Because what is Rome Odunze's existence going to look like? Because Colson Loveland had a similar first-year arc to Burden in a sense where he was a late bloomer. But I feel so much more secure in the sense that Loveland's going to continue that. His role is going to stay the same, and he's going to continue being the top target.
Yeah.
I would say out of the three on that team, Loveland is the number one receiver.
Yeah, he's my receiver one
on that team. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see like how the shakeup between Burden and Odunze goes, because I think that'll just completely determine what the production looks like. And Agbuka's going to be steady. Like I feel like we have a good idea of what Agbuka could put up. You know, maybe sub 1,000 yards, probably have 5 or 6 touchdowns, and he has a role where it's just it's just a toss up. I feel like with Chicago right now, from a role perspective almost. I did have one more name I want to mention, and I went on this tirade last year, and I'm going to continue it, although I'm not as strongly behind it. And that's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I'm sorry. I think Amon-Ra is very good at what he does. I think he gets a lot of credit for the dirty work he does, which is fair. But especially after the year we just saw with what JSN did and the year Nakua had, like, we're seeing this archetype of receiver shake itself out. And there are so many guys coming down the road that I just think are better athletically than he is and more explosive than he is and can expand in that role a lot more than Amon-Ra ever really has. Like, you know, Puka is this same physical, dirty, inline guy that can really clear out in the run, but this dude is making some of the greatest catches I've ever seen with one hand. I can't not tell you the time I've seen Amon-Ra make an insane catch through contact with one hand. He just doesn't have the ligament length to do some of these things. He just doesn't have the explosiveness. Like, I think he's very good in the red zone. He does his job well, run blocking, but I think that we're going to keep seeing more and more guys that are just better at that position than he is. Maybe he kind of pioneered it, so it's just everybody thinks he's kind of the guy that's the best at it, but we're seeing so many guys that kind of play this role that just do so much more and are better at it. So,
yeah, I can see what you're saying of like maybe that as athletes kind of get more into that big slot role, Amon-Ra is more of like an old Mount Rushmore figure than like someone who stays the GOAT. But man, he's terrorized the Packers way too many times, man.
That's fair.
Week 1, he made some diving catch on the sideline. LaFleur challenged it, and he's someone where it's like, don't challenge the catches he makes. Like, don't challenge it, because he made the catch. He catches freaking everything. So don't challenge that he made a diving catch on the sideline. I promise he got the toes in, and he did. And like his catch rates over the course of his career are just like ridiculously good. They've peaked at like 80%, I think, in 2024. He caught.
Yeah.
Is that right? 81.6% of the balls thrown his way. Now it was down at 68 last year, so it did fall off.
His catch rate over expected that year was just eye popping, like ridiculous. So I give him that.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a guy that can like just take a punch over the middle, and can also deliver a punch as a blocker, like
Dude,
peak physicality.
Against the Packers, he hit a hook and lateral like to seal the game, and like it kind of blew my mind because it was just a little hitch that he had to catch, but like the sureness in his hands to catch it and then get the lateral off, like to do it so fast, like through contact and to just do it perfectly. Like they tried a hook and lateral with JSN, I think week 1. He had all the time in the world to to line up the lateral, and he skied it over the guy's head, and it was a fumble. Like, there's something about the details with Amon-Ra where it's just no matter what you ask him to do, he's going to do it at such a high level. And I'm a give Amon-Ra his flowers guy these days, I think. But I don't disagree. Like, Puka just does everything that he does better than him. But like that's Justin Jefferson does everything Garrett Wilson does, just better than Garrett Wilson. That doesn't mean Wilson isn't, a good receiver.
Yeah,
he's just lower than one particular guy.
Yeah, last year I was the Amon-Ra. I was the Amon-Ra defender. I was the Amon-Ra defender. I still am. Like, and I get it from like a visuals perspective. Where you're like, he's kind of built like a running back. He's a little stiffer when you're talking about like actual movement, but like he's just such a good hustle player. He's so tough. He's so intelligent. His hands are so good. He's like the ultimate just peak reliability for a receiver. And while like there are a lot of these guys that are coming in and like JSN that are these motion guys, they're these slot guys, and they are, getting a lot of volume. There's just something about the way Amon-Ra does it. He's so physical. He's so tough. He is an old school receiver, but he's still producing like 1,400 yards a year plus. And he's really good in the red zone. Like, there's nothing he can't do besides maybe like line up outside and win vertically all the time. But like he gets that production his own way. Like, it's never empty.
Sure, man. Sure.
Sure.
I don't know. Whatever, man. I just
slot receivers are woke. Get them.
It's not even that, because I think like the angle someone would take is, he only plays in the slot, and that's not even the approach I'm taking. I just think we're entering an era where, and it's not even a projection of athletes coming in. Like Drake London plays that role in a way very nicely. Like, he's one of the most nimble, most flexible big guys that I've ever seen at the receiver position, and he put up a ton of numbers too. He got hurt this year, played with really bad quarterbacks. The second I say Drake London's better than Amon-Ra, I get like spit on. I think that is a very fair take, especially given how Zach Robinson deployed him. I think he did a lot of things over the middle of the field nicely. The only thing you can approach it from is the run blocking perspective. Fine, and I know Austin, the old head, loves it. Loves the run blocking stuff, but come on.
I do love a good run blocker, but
Drake, if you had to tell me right now, I'm starting a team with Drake London or Amon-Ra, how do you not take Drake London as your top receiver?
Because I would take the other guy.
No.
That's how. Yeah, I think I would I really like London too. Like, I really like the way he plays. I still think they're just both so different. Like, even though they both kind of operate out the slot with volume, I just think they're so different. I just think Amon-Ra just wins more regardless of quarterback play.
Does he though? I don't know if he does.
Think so.
I don't know if he does win more.
I think he does.
I love me some Drake London, but he is it when he's a 2-time first team All Pro, maybe.
Whatever. I just want to point out that Cortland Sutton was on pace for 1150 before it all went down.
The on pace? What is this on pace?
He was. It just all went downhill at some point. I don't know. I can't.
He only had 100 yards less.
I can't tell you what happened. He was on pace for that though.
All pro 1,100 yard season.
Like, he didn't get close to 12 touchdowns though. He was.
We're gonna have an on pace conversation about maybe Lucas Van Ness. I don't know.
Or Matthew Golden. That's
yes.
the big.
How was he on pace?
Yeah. From the playoffs, if you project his playoff game over a full season, it's probably going to be offensive player of the year.
I went through the first 7 weeks is what I did the on-pace projection for. Okay, that's a third of the season. That's almost half. It's fair. But that's fine. I just wanted to point that out. That's all. We don't have to expand on it.
Van Ness wasn't even. I thought he was off to a good start this season, but he was not on pace for anything eye-popping.
He'd have 8 sacks.
He's on pace for 5 sacks before he got hurt.
What was your sample size? How many games did he play before then?
He played 5 games and he had a sack and a half. Come on now.
Nice.
Oh, okay, we're cooking.
And 3 tackles for loss. So
okay.
Nice.
Turn me up.
Not bad.
Let's go.
He actually did take a step. Get on board early.
Yeah. Is this first year starting now?
It is.
Officially?
It should be. I'm excited.
It's like high school.
Yeah, I'm excited for.
It's like high school. That's a real stat.
Literally.
Isn't it?
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally.
That's crazy. Well, good for Lucas, man. Unless we want to open that can of worms on the receiver episode.
The Lucas Van Ness section. Yeah.
All right, let's go into what we have left here. We gotta go threes. I guess we could just kind of get into. Well, let's do this first. We're gonna draft appetizers, and then we'll get to our finalized receiver rankings. Because we're gonna take a chill pill from the receiver talk and the Lucas Van Ness babble, and we're gonna draft the best appetizers you get at a restaurant. A 3-round draft. We'll each get a pick, and we did something like this last episode before. Oh no, actually we haven't posted that one yet. But anyway, we did an episode that you will have seen by now of ranking the best shows our dad used to watch, and that definitely brought up some good memories.
Shout out Monk.
Yeah, Deadliest Catch was.
Shout out Deadliest Catch. Bro.
Yeah,
I love Deadliest Catch.
Cash Cab. Us didn't know Cash Cab.
I have not seen Cash Cab in my life.
It's always on my TV for some reason. But we're gonna do appetizers here, and let's ask Siri. Theo, you're 1. I'm 2. Austin, you're 3. She'll tell us who goes first. Hey Siri, pick a number.
The answer is 26.
Oh, I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her the range.
I think you already gave us the order.
All right, Theo, you can get first overall pick then. Of appetizers.
Best appetizer. I think one of my favorite appetizers is just like bread, like when they bring rolls out and you just get to eat a roll. Maybe I'll bump it up a bit and say a charcuterie board, because not only are you getting bread there, but you're also getting cheese, and you're also getting like meat, like cuts of meat, and you're also getting like fig jam or whatever it is. Like there's a whole different combination of flavors you can make with a charcuterie board. So I feel like instead of just saying rolls or bread, I'm gonna upgrade it and say a charcuterie board is my first overall pick here.
I respect that. Like I dominate the Trader Joe's charcuterie set. Like every single time I go, I bring it home and eat it. Like as I'm putting groceries away. So I respect that.
I like that. I was gonna say I feel like bread doesn't count because it's usually complimentary. Like you don't have to choose to get the bread. You just get the bread.
These Cincinnati folk are stingy. I'm paying for sourdough and oil like all the time.
That's crazy. I feel like well, I guess if you're going to a non-Italian restaurant maybe, but
yeah, a
lot of like Italian-based places usually just bring it out for free. But charcuterie board is good. I like a good pepperoni cheddar cheese block. That's probably, although my first appetizer, you probably could have gotten that a little later. I don't know if we're charcuterie. Well, no, I guess Austin just said he picks it at charcuterie board constantly.
Yeah, all
Maybe
the time.
I'm wrong. Well, I'm going to go with a very popular choice. This is a cross-section of one of my favorites and a very popular option, and that's just the mozzarella sticks. I've never had a bad mozzarella stick at a restaurant, ever. You can't fuck them. I can make a mozzarella stick with a cheese stick, roll it up with cut-up white bread, and air fry it, and it would still be good. You just can't miss on a mozzarella stick
it's
and
pre-fire
sauce.
No, you can't. That was probably going to be my first overall pick.
I think there's...
If
oh, God.
the nacho didn't exist.
Okay.
It's not nacho's number one to me, hands down. It's so versatile, too.
It could be a meal. Some nacho appetizers are so large that they're meals because they're just so big. And they have meat usually. Like I'm a beef inside of my nachos guy. I don't like chicken. Get the chicken the fuck out of here. Nacho is always a
I'm not picky.
Strict meal, I think.
Nah, I think I'm chicken nachos.
You can't go wrong. I like both a lot. Nachos are a great choice, honestly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of I don't know. I've never had a I'm gonna stop being Mr. Contrary. Theo, go ahead with your second pick.
Maybe I'll take like sliders, like little sandwiches. I got to get something with some meat because I'm not. Charcuterie is good and it's super flavorful, but in my heart, in my core, I am someone who just wants like a bite of like pulled pork. Yeah. So a slider, you can do that, and yeah, it's just a smaller version of like something that would be an entree, and it usually tastes just as good. So I'm going with the sliders, like specifically like a pulled pork, maybe a pickle, a barbecue sauce, something like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a bad slider either, to be honest. But, it's my pick. Second pick. I'm split. I my top 3 picks, if I had it my way, don't feature meat. So hopefully you guys don't steal them. But my next pick, I'm gonna go with poutine. I don't know if poutine is something that's around where you guys are at too often, but poutine.
This is a buffalo-ass thing to say.
I knew someone was going to say it. It is. If you've ever had poutine, you will be blown away. Good poutine. It's got to be good poutine.
What is the sauce? I know what it is. It's like gravy and French fries, right?
Yeah, so poutine is gravy, cheese curds, and French fries. And, they can throw whatever else the restaurant wants to. But that's really the base of it. And
Sure.
It is delicious. It's one of those appetizers that you get a plate of it, and if you eat most of it yourself, you're not going to finish your dinner. Granted, most appetizers might be like that, but it's got enough substance going on that it'll do that to you, and it's so good. Not every time. That's the caveat. You can fuck up poutine. How? I don't know. I'm not on the line. I'm not a line cook. But you can fuck up poutine, and I've had very good poutine. I've gone to Canada a lot. They have the best poutine you'll get up in Canada. Buffalo too. Otherwise, I'm kind of weary. It's kind of like chicken wings. It's like if I'm going to go to a different state or something, I'm not going to get the chicken wings. But poutine definitely fits that.
I think you could have got that in a later round too. If we're doing that,
I've never had it. I bet it's good, but I've never.
It's
had
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
You're probably right. I should have waited. Fuck.
All right. I think I'm gonna lay it down with the classic, just soft pretzel. Like the soft pretzel and like beer cheese
It's fire.
combo is so freaking good. And it's a hit like 99% of the time at minimum. So we're running double cheese, like nacho and pretzel with cheese.
I love the soft pretzel so much. The only problem with the soft pretzel is there's not enough of it, I feel like.
Yes.
Like I could just eat a soft pretzel all day, every day.
Yeah.
But they're like not that big.
It's like $14.
Neither is sliders, I guess. Neither is any appetizer. Like, especially a soft pretzel is like gone too
I'm like
soon.
kind of hungrier.
Like, and when you're at a restaurant, it's like, am I really gonna spend like
Yes,
$10 on a pretzel? Right? It tastes so good, but like, am I really going to spend it at a restaurant, or am I gonna get it at a pool or a concession stand
Yeah.
or something? But they taste so good.
I just had a soft pretzel as an appetizer this past
Same.
Saturday, and it was delicious. It was $16. It was a big one.
Good God.
It was a big one, so my girlfriend and I were able to split it. But still, like, that was about as much as I spent on my damn burger. I had a burger as my entree, and the burger and the damn pretzel were damn near the same amount. And I'm like, man, that
The
really
shareable.
hurt.
Yeah.
Like, it was good. I'm glad I got it, but also not glad because it cost
You'd
so
stop going to those like millennial burger joints.
No, it was called Hofbrauhaus. It's a German-based.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a big German food guy. Like I don't eat the Schwitzel,
Was?
Schnitzel. What is
Schnitzel, come on now. I'm my family. Schnitzel's fire.
it? Is it? I've never.
It
I've never
is.
tried. I've never
It is.
tried it, so maybe I'm wrong to say anything.
Schnitzel with it's just like it's like a deep fried pork chop, and then you put applesauce on it, and it's actually quite good.
Excuse me?
It's
You can
actually
make it a
quite
sandwich too. If you make a little sandwich out of it, it's also
There we
freaking
go.
fire.
Maybe I'll have to give it.
For my last appetizer pick, I think I'm gonna go with Brussels sprouts. I'm a big fan of Brussels sprouts, especially restaurant style when they're like blackened and kind of caramelized, and like they'll throw some bacon in there. Like it is so good to me, and I feel like it's a good charcuterie is kind of a bit of everything, and then I have a meatier dish in the sliders, and then a vegetable. But by the time a restaurant is done with Brussels sprouts, I don't know if they're really a superfood or anything like that.
Right.
But
No.
they do. I do love Brussels sprouts, and that's something that I'm always getting at restaurants.
I've never had a Brussels sprout as an entree, but I do like Brussels sprouts, and I feel like they're one of those foods that kind of like an asparagus. Like I love asparagus, but that's after you kind of like drench it in seasoning and stuff. Like it's kind of the same thing, and I love a good cooked asparagus that's just covered in seasoning. So I'm sure it's probably the same kind of vein of of a deal.
Yeah, zucchini, very similar, like zucchini appetizers, based appetizers. So good, but they're like deep fried, right? They're like a French fry at that point, right?
Yeah.
But
Well, my last pick, I'm not very diverse here. I'm definitely strict appetizer. This isn't going to fill you up for the most part, but I'm going with spinach and artichoke dip.
Fire.
I love spinach
Fire.
and artichoke dip. And the best part about this dip, this appetizer, is you can have it with chips, you can have it with pita bread, you can have it with pretzels.
Yep.
You can dip anything in spinach and artichoke dip, and it's probably going to be very, very good. So I wanted to make sure that fit in here. And that was one of those foods that, like, growing up, I never would have tried. But I got older, I matured a bit, and I'm like, sure, man, let's give it a try. And it was
you got a girlfriend. It sounds.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Girlfriends put you on to spinach and artichoke drip, and they're cooking.
That is
That's
so
what happens.
real. That is what happened. She was the one that
Yeah,
made me
yeah,
try
I know.
it.
That's happened to me. That's what happened to me.
That is hilarious.
She's on some spinach and artichoke drip. Why aren't you getting nachos?
Yeah,
But
like,
the
why-
spinach and artichoke
I
drip
know.
is-
Like anytime
is
we
fire.
go out,
Because I got like roosters or like beat-ups.
yeah, I'm like sitting there. I'm like, I'm getting my mozzarella sticks. Damn it! Like I don't want
Yeah.
no spin dip. I want my sticks of cheese. But once I had it, I never went back. So
Yeah.
okay.
You know, if you can pry me off like the Skyline chili, I think low-key crab rangoons. If we're talking like,
Is that
if you've been to, yeah, well, like they throw it to you and like you always eat it first. It's like these small little things.
yeah.
Sure.
They're like deep fried and they're fantastic.
They are delicious.
I used to hate crab. Also a girlfriend thing. Where I was converted. I wouldn't even eat shrimp till I was like 20. And then that was like my first seafood bite of all time. And then I tried it and it was so good.
Seafood is awesome. I'm a big believer in anything seafood. I'm really not picky though. I'm kind of a big believer in anything. You're like you could say any food and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's pretty tasty. What is your least favorite food? Do you have what do you hate?
I've never eaten a salad in my life.
I
won't
feel
do
like you said that before, and I didn't believe you, and I don't believe you now.
I won't eat lettuce. If there's lettuce that like touched my burrito and it's not there currently, I'll know.
Why?
I don't know what it is. I don't. I wish I was.
What about like any leafy green? Like what about arugula or something
Not
that
happening.
doesn't taste like iceberg lettuce?
You didn't have a moment.
No, I'm such a baby.
What was-
No,
what-
that's not happening.
There's got to be a reason.
No.
Are you sure?
It's like the cilantro thing where it tastes like soap. Like I think it just tastes bad. Like I think it tastes really bad. And I don't. I wish I was less of a baby, but I'm not. I'm a huge baby, and that's okay.
Well, you're pretty. I feel like lettuce is such a foundational piece of so many things, and
It doesn't even taste like much
Right.
of anything.
That's what everyone tells me, and I can smell it. Like I can smell it coming. I can smell it on my plate. Like no.
The fuck? Well, I feel like you eat a lot of. You would be willing to try a lot of different things. I'll put it that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah, I've tried
shocked
it. I just
that-
hate it.
Sure. That's kind of okay. Well, I do have an answer to this. It took me a second to think about it. I don't know how people drink Bloody Marys. Those things are an abomination to taste buds. The fact that some psycho decided that I don't even know what goes into it other than tomato juice, and that enough.
You can have everything: pickles,
Like a pickle,
bacon.
yeah.
It's just a hodgepodge of bullshit, and people drink it. And I think it's one of those things that has like this stigma around it. Like you drink a Bloody Mary, you're an adult. You're grown
Yeah.
up. You drink Bloody Marys. Like I don't care enough to develop that acquired taste. Beer, fine. Beer took a bit. It takes a bit for everybody when you're first drinking it. But this is not. I won't even give it the light of day.
Your first sip of Patronacy, you're gonna thank me. You'll text me
What
first.
is that?
Patron and Hennessy make a great best friend.
It's crazy.
Yeah, my least favorite food is absinthe.
I don't.
What?
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know if mixing liquor can like fits into this least favorite conversation. I don't know. I like a Bloody Mary though. I will drink a Bloody Mary. It's like an early morning alcoholic beverage. You wake up and you drink a Bloody Mary. You wake up, you're going to Lambeau Field, maybe you're camping, something like that. In Wisconsin, we were drinking Bloody Marys. We're drinking Bloody Marys like 9 a.m.
That's
I'm talked into it.
crazy. That is crazy.
I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have a least favorite if you're suggesting. You have to have an agenda to push.
What is my least favorite food, I don't really have an agenda to push.
This is a journalist.
I'm not a big. Yep. I recently had avocado toast because that's another thing my girlfriend makes every morning, and man, I don't like the texture. It needs more. Like maybe an egg on it, it's okay, but if it's just like avocado and toast, that's too much mushiness. That's too much mushiness. But it's really not my all-time least favorite. I remember hating meatloaf from when I was a kid, but I haven't had it in so long that I don't know if that still counts. The yuckiest thing, or the thing that was the toughest for me to finish, was actually avocado toast in like the recent weeks. So I'll go with that, but it's really not that bad.
Yeah, I feel like as you get older, it gets harder to taste something and literally blacklist it. I don't think I really have anything else other than Bloody Marys that fits that description. Like I don't.
I have so many.
I'm shocked. Like I feel like you're very not picky.
I don't know
Like,
why.
what
I
else-
wish I
what
wasn't
else
this
is
way.
on
I
this list for
promise.
you, because I could not name a second thing right now.
Cilantro strong. Cannot do it.
Okay, I mean that's kind of
Like-
not the same, but
Yeah, there's just like still I won't touch a clam, like an oyster. I won't touch an oyster. Not happening. And I wish I could be like the cool guy that's like, yeah, let's go grab some oysters. Not
that's
happening.
I
Ever.
can understand.
Ever.
I like seafood when I like seafood with my butter. I don't like butter with my seafood. That's
Fair.
kind of where I'm at. Like I'm not gonna eat seafood without just dunking it in something, even cheese. Like I'll eat lobster mac and cheese. It's the best. That might be my
Yeah.
favorite food. But
Damn.
as far as like seafood in any other way, if it's just like crab legs, like I'm not going to an all you can eat crab legs event. I'd rather eat like all you can eat, crab rangoon even. Like that'd be more of my
All you can eat.
He would just die immediately.
I think maybe the best meal I've ever had was a leftover lobster roll with potato chips. It was like from the day before. It hit so much different the next day. I took it like out into the city. It was like
Nice.
packed. It was like a packed lunch, a lobster roll.
You know,
I was like, this is peak. Like this is actually the peak of my life right here, is eating this lobster roll that I've been carrying around in my backpack all day with potato chips. Shout out lobster.
something I think about the concept of food tasting better as a leftover, like cold pizza, for example. That's the poster boy of this. But I feel like part of that is when you're eating it. Like when it's coming through for you is why it is considered that. Like maybe
For sure.
it doesn't taste as good literally, but because of when you're eating it and what it's satisfying in that moment, I think it kind of picks up for that. Like I once ate a French bread pizza when I was extremely inebriated at like 3 a.m. And to this day, I say to my friends that was the best thing I've ever eaten. That specific French bread pizza, but I was, very not coherent, and
Yeah.
it was very late. So I think that matters a lot when it comes.
I think so too. I think that's true. I think because the lobster roll was left over, and then the other great meal that I think of was just cold pizza that I had the next day. I wasn't even drunk. I was just in Phoenix, like lounging in the pool, and I was delivered a leftovers from yesterday. I didn't have to get up, and I was like, "Let's go,
Yeah.
cold pizza. I'm in the pool. This is." No restaurant could ever match this.
Right.
Like I don't. No 5-star can get me this
Yeah.
specific experience right now.
No Michelin chef can make the 32 count Domino's Parmesan bites at like 2 in the morning.
No.
Can't do it.
No, they can't.
This guy eats some of the it's crazy for him to say he won't eat lettuce because he's the guy that eats like the Cheez-It pizzas that they'll produce. Like, that
So
was
good.
crazy. That was crazy. I don't know if I've ever. I gotta try it. Like, there's a lot of things that you'll send you're eating, and I'm like, that is extremely unique.
The Skyline ice cream was fire, by the way.
Skyline
It was
ice
so good. So good.
That is just-
Is it at least not chili flavored?
It's like the chili spice flavor. So you get like the cinnamon and all that. But it's not like you're not tasting like beef. There's no beef ice cream.
so.
It's so
I
good.
was hoping it was just like ice cream at Skyline. Like
No.
But he won't
No,
eat lettuce.
it's
There's no lettuce,
Skyline.
but lettuce is where we cross the
chili
line.
ice cream though. Let's Of course, we'll have a look.
Yeah, if Xavier Worthy breaks 1,000 yards, I'll send everyone a pint of Skyline ice cream. How about that?
I'm holding you to that. I expect it on my doorstep if you cross.
I'm a liar. Don't even hold me to it.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy getting 1,000 yards is not that unthinkable.
I expect that Skyline chili ice cream on my doorstep. All right, let's get into the final conversation here. And we're just going to go through and rank our top 16 receivers we did. It's not going to be, we're not going to talk about every single one individually, out of the sake of time, of course. But we are still going to talk about the ones that might fall in a controversial space. So, Austin, please, I would love to hear what your list looks like.
Yes, number 1, I have yours truly, Jamar Chase. Number 2, I have Justin Jefferson. Number 3, I have Puka Nakua. 4th, I have Jackson Smith and Jigba. 5, I have Malik Neighbors when healthy. 6, I have A.J. Brown. 7, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 8, I have CeeDee Lamb. 9, George Pickens. 10, Garrett Wilson. 11, Nico Collins. 12, Drake London. 13, I have T. Higgins. 14, Devontae Smith. 15, Chris Olave. And then Jameson Williams at my last spot.
Oh, you did that on purpose.
He's actually just good.
No
He's good at
way.
football. He's really good at it.
16?
Yeah.
Stop. That
Jalen Waddle when like at his peak is also here, but I don't know when or how that looks.
Man, I didn't know you were that high on him.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's so good.
That insinuates that he would start on 16 other teams as the number one.
He definitely would. Yeah, probably. At least pretty close to that. Yeah.
I can't get there.
Well, there was also like the Eagles had 2, the Bengals had 2. This might even be more.
He'd be the best receiver. Be the best receiver in Green Bay. He'd be the best receiver maybe in Chicago. I think
he
best
would
in
be
Chicago for sure. He'd be the best in Cleveland. He'd be the best in Pittsburgh. He'd be the best in Baltimore, I think.
Buffalo, Miami.
Buffalo, Miami.
New England right now.
No. I'm taking Romeo Dobbs over Jameson Williams.
No.
What'd you just say to me?
No.
Romeo Dobbs is like A.J. Brown.
What did you just say out loud?
Come on.
We are not taking Dobbs over
On your
J-Mo.
it's because he's gone. He's off the Packers now.
No.
He's
good
one
for,
of the Packers of all time.
He's good for like 7, 15, and 3. Like what we're talking, like maybe on a good year, like 800 yards. I don't think he's even done that though.
No, he has not gotten to 800.
All right, maybe he's not
No.
better, but I will at least suggest that it's not a no-brainer.
I think it's like a big difference.
I would definitely take Jameson Williams over Romeo Dobbs. Romeo Dobbs is slow, and he doesn't make really tough catches. Like he's a good separator and like a decent route runner, but like he's not anything that special. Like J-Mo is probably the fastest player in the league right now.
I think he is.
Yeah.
That was my defense if I had to come to his defense. It's I think play speed wise, like this is the fastest player in the league.
His stride off the line is ridiculous. Like it is the first step, it's like 1.5 yards or something. Maybe it's not quite that much, but it's crazy the ground that he covers.
Yeah, I mean he does have like gazelle-like steps. Like if you freeze framed his release, it'd be like an exaggerated, very long step. So yeah, sure, but better top 16.
He's a great route. He's a good route runner too. He just doesn't have to do anything crazy because he can get a bucket from like 50 yards out, and he does all the time. He had like 1,100 yards, and he looked really good when Amon-Ra got hurt, and kind of had to take a little bit of a step back. And J-Mo had like his best stretch down the end after that like Green Bay game.
Yeah, 2,000-yard seasons in a row, and Dobbs has not hit 800.
There's some context to that. I think Romeo
Like,
Dobbs
I
can
don't know.
easily be in
And Dobbs has a better quarterback. Like Dobbs has less competition for.
Yeah, I think he had more of a pathway for receiver one-ship for sure.
Yeah.
but
Well, maybe not with Fleury's
right.
That's true.
Right.
But like, if someone who is really that guy came along, like the a million wide receiver one stuff, I would have to think goes away. Like I truly think that the Packers have had a lot of wide receivers of similar caliber who are like have a role that they're good at, but they're not like all encompassing. It's not like Calvin Johnson has walked through that door and they're like suppressing him. It's like, well, they just kind of have a bunch of guys who are decent. Like, and I do think that Dobbs isn't like necessarily a superstar in disguise as much as he is like, yeah, he's about an 800-yard receiver.
I think
Yeah,
he's an
fine.
1,000-yard guy this year, barring
I
an
can
AJ
see it.
Brown acquisition.
I think
could
that's
see
just
it.
I think that's a Drake May stat more than it is a Romeo Dobbs stat. I think it's just like being his best target as of right now will do that.
I agree with that. That I think Dobbs would have definitely a career year, barring like right now. We'll see what happens with AJ Brown, but like right now, Dobbs would definitely have a big year, I think. But so would Jameson Williams if he was
Right.
the only option in New England or something. Should I go my list?
Yes, knock it out.
Drop it.
Let's see. I'm gonna kind of make it up as I go here. I got a bunch of names written down and have like written guys within the margins. But my number 1 is Justin Jefferson. My number 2 is Jamar Chase. 3 Puka Nacua. 4 JSN. 5 Amon-Ra St. Brown. 6 Malik Neighbors. 7 Garrett Wilson. We'll go 8 Nico Collins. 9 AJ Brown. 10 CD Lamb. 11 Terry McLaurin. 12 maybe Pickens. 13 London. 14 Mike Evans. 15 Jameson Williams. 16 T Higgins, although I didn't mention Tyson, who I put above. So Tyson actually might be in there.
He might be top 10.
He might be. He could walk into the league at top 15 receivers. I mean, Tet is very close. I think Tet is one of my first guys off.
He was my first off.
Olave is one of my first off. Egbuka is one of my first off. Like Tyson could definitely come in and be as good as those guys. So I think so. Maybe Tyson's in there, but we haven't seen him. But I did put him on the other list, so there really shouldn't be any difference.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Big
I think that's what
McLaurin
I'm
believer still.
I think so. He was a pleasant surprise for me, kind of checking up on him. He had a ridiculous catch versus the Packers in week 2, like tipped it to himself in traffic, like redirected, caught it. Like that's some he's crazy tracking the ball. And I think he's an underrated route runner too. Somebody who can get open vertically with relative ease, somebody who will really lean on you and break off as well. He's somebody that I think has never been the monster of like a CD Lamb. He's never had that like 150 target, 1,500-yard season or anything like that. And maybe at this point he never will. But I do think Terry McLaurin is super smooth and an awesome receiver.
Yeah, he's an awesome player. Yeah, it's just like for him now, it's like, is this the same Terry McLaurin as we've gotten to enjoy the last couple of years? Because like the weird injury and like just the weird space that the Commanders themselves are in, it's odd. But he is a really, really good receiver.
Yeah, and Mike Evans I put in there too. I don't know how much I believe that truly, just because he came in and got hurt. He came in, he got hurt. He came in, he got hurt last year. It felt like, and when that starts to happen, I really worry about the wheels starting to come off. But man, at the end of 2024, like that December, may have been the best stretch of his entire career. And I thought he got off to a really hot start and looked really good before getting banged up last year, and then just fell into this injured, and like maybe he'll never be the same, because it did really start to seem to pile up for him. But when healthy, I think Evans was playing at a really high level before dealing with all those things, and it's definitely a question mark going forward. And same thing with Neighbors, like, ooh, the second ACL surgery, like I don't know, but dude, when he turns around, it's very, very scary, like the speed at which he does that and maintains it through all of his breaks. If you wanted to say like, oh, I got him above some of these like route merchants, like he might be like a Jamar. I don't know. You can't.
I
put him in
think
Jamar Chase.
I've had him that high. I've had him that high, like really much until the the recent injury news, and
He's
that kind of
pretty
shattered my dreams.
explosive, and the acrobatics in the air, like his spinning away from the frame, like toe tap catches that he does like pretty frequently. He's pretty ridiculous. He's a pretty ridiculous athlete, and like Amon Ra is not that ridiculous of an athlete. Like JSN isn't that ridiculous of an athlete. Like if Neighbors could get the numbers to put him in those conversations, like yeah, he might be the better player at some point someday, but I don't think we're at that point here today.
Like injuries plus like circumstances of the roster around him, plus like everything involved in that, I think has really wet him down. But my eyes are like I feel like the eyes cannot lie. Like this is one of the top 5 receivers in the league when healthy to me.
He's nice.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It just is so terrifying because we would be getting. As if he wouldn't be, but everyone involved would be getting robbed of what is looking like an all-time talent if this does kind of like blemish everything from here on out, because it was that special.
Yeah.
There's just no projecting it, unfortunately. But it's an interesting point you make on Mike Evans, because I was given I was called very mean names for saying Mike Evans was better than Amon Ra after that 2024 end of season. I thought it was also that good. Maybe you won't go that length, but I was also of the belief that he looked of that caliber, despite him getting up there in age and getting force-fed the ball to get to 1,000 yards. That was that year, if I remember properly. Like everyone's so focused on that. He was still playing some extremely good football, and I remember in that Lions game, the difference he made down the stretch was, that was one of those moments for a receiver. I'm like, yeah, he still got it.
Yeah, he's maybe better than ever. Like, more than still got it. Like, he uses physicality and, like, his feet in such a nice blend and has made so many fade catches at this point that, like, it feels like he's as good as it gets. Like, if, like, goal line fade, like, it's not a good play, but if I had to throw it to anybody, if I had to throw a goal line fade to anybody, like, I'm probably choosing Mike Evans at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's not crazy to say at all. It's not often that running the ball and throwing the fade are kind of looked at as even scenario or even play calls to some degree.
Yeah.
But when you have Mike Evans, it's like, it's just as feasible as running a dive or a sneak.
Yeah, 4-yard run with Bucky or on the goal line or fade to Mike.
Right.
I'm probably picking Mike.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'll run through my list quick. At number 1, I also do have Jamar Chase. 2, I have Justin Jefferson. 3, I have Nakua. 4, JSN. 5, I have Nico Collins. 6, I have Drake London. 7, I have A.J. Brown. 8, George Pickens. 9, C.D. Lamb. 10, Amon Ra. This is Neighbors at his floor at 11, assuming the worst. 12th, I have Garrett Wilson. 13th, T. Higgins. 14th, Olave. 15th, Devontae Smith. And 16th, Jalen Waddle. So,
okay, so
nothing too
the
crazy.
elephant.
Too irrational.
I think the elephant. I think that might be Drake London. I think for myself. Where did you have him? Was he 6?
Yes.
Nico Collins at 5 was also an interesting play. Like I think he's incredibly talented, but him itself has also been availability. So it's like kind of a really weird question mark because the tape himself is easy top 10, could be higher, and then Drake London. I just don't think I share the same vision. As much as I love the player, like I think he's close to a top 10 receiver. I just don't quite share the same enthusiasm.
I was on this last year, like about Drake London, and like you got to buy stock right now. Like Drake London is gonna go crazy, and then he didn't.
He got hurt.
He did not go crazy.
He got hurt.
He got hurt. He got hurt. He is crazy winning late, I think, through contact. That's what I like about him so much is like he can be walled off and just get inside like so easily at such a severe angle. And he can make all kinds of catches. He's another guy you want to throw like goal line fades to and just like give him a chance to go up and get it because his grip strength and the ability to like wave the ball around in the air with his hand. Like he can really like, cookie jar too high.
The T. Higgins reach.
The T. Higgins special, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But is there a huge gap between like him and T. Higgins, like at the end of the day? Because T can do a lot of those things too. And now I've got those two closer to each other because I just didn't see that London like break out to the where like he's prime at AJ Brown now or anything like that.
Yeah, I think to me it's a mixture of like I think he does a very good job at those kind of like shorter explosive plays, I guess, like within like the 25 yards where it's still an impressive play, really impressive catches, but like I think there's a lack of taking the top off and like truly like deep explosive plays, as well as a lack of true like terrifyingness after the catch.
Yeah.
And also just like not being a crazy volume winner. Like I think that he can be the recipient of volume. Like he has the body for it, he has the skill set for it, but for one, it just doesn't happen as much as I really wish it would. And it's just like it's not scary if it happens. Like he's not breaking a bunch of tackles and like taking off like Jamar Chase after the catch. Like he's not a crazy separator outside of like really like stuff like within the numbers to me or stuff within 10 yards. So I think he's really, really good at what he does. But I don't know if there's much of a ceiling like outside of what he's doing right now.
Go ahead before I defend,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I don't have any. Defend it.
Oh yeah, I gotta defend it. I think Drake London, another on pace candidate. This was a player on pace for 1,300 yards this year before given what he was producing pre-injury. I think the yards after catch stuff I think is a fair point of criticism. And I sit here and I ask myself, okay, I look at a guy like George Pickens who is better at the catch point, and I think definitely better after the catch. All right, maybe I can revise the ranking from that perspective. But everything else, I think Drake London operates from the interior of the field so just as well as like any of these other like strictly slot or heavier slot guys can. Like he's so nimble and so fluid to me that he moves in a way that T. Higgins just there's no way T. Higgins can move in a way that Drake London could over the middle. I think T. Higgins can run a dig fairly nicely,
Sure.
but as far as like winning on a slant inside and getting really good flexibility with his ankles, like those are things London does extremely well. And then he also has the ball skills that I think comparable to Higgins, maybe a peg down from Higgins, a peg down from Pickens, but I think they're equally is up there. And like I said, another guy that I don't think we've seen the ceiling of production from a guy like him. We've seen the ceiling of production from a guy like Higgins, I think. And I think we've probably scratched the ceiling of production for a guy like Pickens. But a guy like London, we're dealing with, meteorite thrower Michael Penix, and now we've got Tua, and he's been in and out of the lineup. It's like, and he was still on pace for 1,300. Like, come on, what are we looking at if he's in a Dak Prescott offense in George Pickens' place, or if he's with Joe Burrow? Like, I think it's just a what if kind of thing, and we won't ever know because he's stuck in desolate Atlanta. But it just is one of those things where we just won't know. But
No,
you can never
respect
prove
his
it
game.
wrong because he'll always be in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Well, maybe
I'll always respect his game, but like, I just don't know if like I'm like truly like scared to play Drake London. Like I know I know he's gonna put up some production, and I know I know what he's about to do, but I'm not like, oh god, here comes like I'm about to get dunked on right now.
What?
Like I think I'm much more fearful of like some of these other like I'm even more of like a Nico Collins where like he's taking the top off at like a moment's notice. Like I'm a little more scared of that, like and him just completely dominating my perimeter corners than Drake London just kind of doing the expected Drake London things and then calling it a day.
Yeah.
We all have. So I'm the only one with Justin Jefferson at number 1, but we all have him top 2. We all have him above Jackson Smith and Jigba. Kind of stylistically similar, but what did you guys think was like the biggest difference still between like what makes Jefferson special and like someone like JSN coming off the oh boy season?
I think for Jefferson, a lot of it is one is consistency and how often he's done it, with who he's done it with whatever offense he's done it with. I think that he has a little bit more access to the full field on his own. I think he's a little bit less reliant on scheme and more of just winning on his own routes. I think he can run the full route tree as it is. Like he can beat press, he can go do it himself. He can line up on the outside the numbers, he can line up in the slot. Like there really isn't a limit to what he can do. And I think with JSN, I think he is a fantastic receiver. I have him top 4, but I think this year we saw the best of him because the coaches also got the best out of him. Like there was a lot of scheming to get him open. You saw a lot of scheming to get him on linebackers or on the worst defenders, but I think with Justin Jefferson, it's a lot more pure. It's a lot more on his own, and he's done it so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed revisiting Jefferson for this exercise because, like, at the end of last season, obviously JSN is going crazy, and he's a great player. Like, the route running smoothness and how he doesn't give anything away, and like the matrix that he is when the ball comes around him and like finding the way to catch it is all really cool. And at the end, I was like, man, what is really separating this guy from someone like Justin Jefferson, who also does like all the little things right? Like, and I just hadn't thought about JJ in a while because it was such a bad year, and it was such a, you just didn't hear much about him. But revisiting him like on tape, I think the biggest difference between Jefferson and JSN that like kind of surprised me of like just how clear I thought it was like just the violence that I think Jefferson has, and like the suddenness, and like he's just turned up a notch, I think, with his physicality and with like the speed at which things happen with him. It's like, holy cow. Like, it is with JSN, it's very smooth, it's butter, but with Jefferson, I feel like it's all that smoothness just turned up a notch with like how he'll kind of use his arms and push you and really break with crazy severity. But yeah, that was just
No,
question.
I think too, the way that I envision JSN, like if I had a real world comparison, he's almost like a really smooth roller coaster. Like, it's very on track. Like, you can draw the dots and it's very clear. Like, it's very smooth. The line is straight or, perfectly curved. Everything is just, so like he route runs in cursive almost.
Yeah.
And Jefferson, like you were saying, is very sudden. He's jerky. He's like very jerky.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of it. The other part to me is I just don't think there's as much access as far as catch radius goes with JSN. Like, I know he's made a few pretty awesome catches. I think he does a good job putting himself in position to catch the ball, but in the event that he's not able to do that, I don't think his arms are reaching out or he's twisting his body in an insane manner to reach back for it and use one hand or fight through contact. Like, I think back to the Jefferson catch he made against my Bills a couple of years ago. And, you can argue if he had help from, I think it was Saran Neal or whoever the DB was. But there's just no universe where I think I see JSN making a catch like that. And I also think back to the Jefferson and Nick Mullins era, the few games he played. Mullins was the best quarterback for just figuring out what a receiver is made of. And some of the bullshit he threw Jefferson's way was so egregious. And Jefferson was just climbing the ladder and getting blasted in the back by a helmet by Lions players and still catching the ball and hitting the ground and slamming his whole body without bracing himself and getting up and pointing in the DB's face. Like, he's just this different beast.
Yeah, he's very different
in those areas. So I just can't see JSN moving like that if he had to. But he doesn't usually have to, just because of how nice and pure he plays.
Did you think? Did it cross your mind to put Smith and Jigba lower than number 4?
Yeah, I almost put Neighbors over him. Like, because JSN, it's hard for me to tell how much. Like how much can I rank him after 1 year? And obviously Neighbors only played like 1 year, but I think like the level of athlete that Neighbors is just different than what JSN is.
Yeah.
And we saw multiple years of JSN where he was a little bit more pedestrian, like a little bit more like, this guy could maybe be a top 10 receiver, if everything goes right. And then he just has the crazy production he has. But I do think that like full health, I could see myself putting Neighbors over him.
Yeah.
It's fascinating that we're discussing Jefferson versus JSN when the conversation's been JSN and Puka. And I think most people on Twitter, at least, would lean toward JSN because of the whole, like, I don't know who that, respectfully, that bozo was that was like, Puka can't beat man coverage. And then he's just going on and on and on about how Puka can't get open. And it just started this whole spiral of, like, Puka slander that was just not really called for.
I think he's like a rage bait account.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Like, I don't think he said anything real in his life.
He definitely is. Like, that's what he does. But it created a genuine narrative in our community that was just so ridiculous. And I think if once again you pulled a lot of
that energy should be going to Amon Ra.
Yes. It
No.
sounds like you are understanding the language I'm speaking, but it's true. Like
Don't feel this.
I don't know, but all that to say, I don't. For the same reasons, I don't think Puka's above Jefferson. I think JSN's above Jefferson. I think the same things can be said about Nakua. Like some of the catches he makes through contact are remarkably special. That catch against the Falcons, that wasn't a catch, but almost was a catch. That was one of
weird.
the craziest things I've ever seen.
That was very weird. Like that wasn't a catch, but that I watched that so many times. Like I think the amount of control that he has is like kind of scary to even think about. Like he's like he might as well be an ant, like looking at his own fingers and like they appear huge to him and every little movement is like a big deal. And it's like he's so connected to the tip of his pinky.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
I'm like, you were I don't
It's
know,
witchcraft.
man.
And he's catching like Stafford fastballs. Like these aren't easy catches necessarily.
Yeah, I think he knows like how to work like the creases of his gloves or something. Like it's I don't want to know like how deep the rabbit hole goes with Puka Nacua
His
catching
hands?
footballs.
His hands aren't even like he has 9.5-inch hands, which is like extremely average. Like he doesn't have like Larry Fitzgerald like Kawhi
Mitts,
Leonard gloves. Like he has like normal like barely bigger than my hands.
He's also got dumb body control. Like he's made some crazy catches in some tight windows. He made a catch against the Bills.
Yep.
In that big game.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
On the sideline.
Yes. I'm like, dude, come.
Past his eye
That was
line.
sick.
It passed his eyes, and at that point, like there's some quote by Jefferson is like, never let it cross your eyes. Like you gotta look it in. Jefferson makes catches past his eye line all the time, so the rules are different than for him. But like Puka had this Jefferson moment where it passes by his eyes and still snags it with one hand, the tip of the ball, dragging the toes. I think he's had catch of the year 2 years in a row, Puka Nacua. Because I think the one against Mike Jackson this year was catch of the year.
Oh yeah, that was
and
dumb
and the
too.
one on the against the Bills was catch of the year last year.
Yeah, I just can't see. I can't see JSN dirtying his shirt, like if you will. Like if you're eating, the food will get on his napkin on his lap, but it won't ever get on his shirt. But for Nakua and for Jefferson, it's like they'll start eating with their hands. They'll eat the steak with their hands if they have to. I just don't know if JSN's doing that as much, at least.
I can see that POV.
Yeah, I think JSN is either at the top of a tier 2 or at the bottom of a tier 1 was kind of my takeaway from this, which I kind of surprised me. I thought like I would be more thoughtful of putting him in with Jefferson, Chase, and Nakua, and I just was like, he's probably more in with like CD still.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
I
gotta
mean,
set
CD
down a
put up
10,
those
though.
numbers. Like
Yeah. But I don't know.
Nico, to me, I think deserves more praise, though, just briefly, because I think he's another guy that's huge, but also can get up and down just so easily. Like he lowers himself to the football to make catches from C.J. Stroud that he just throws some just very terrible football sometimes, and the adjustments he can make to get low to the ground and kind of scoop it. He makes so many catches where he scoops it off the ground, I feel like, and he's able to control it while bouncing like a literal ping pong ball off the turf, and it just doesn't even move.
Stroud out of structure passes to Collins would be a good cut up because sometimes they're not even bad passes by Stroud. They're just like strenuous because he's been scrambling and he throws it in the sidelines and he has these like A-B moments. Collins does of like, if this bobbles for 1 second on the sideline, it's not complete, but like he just got his fingertips on it and the ball stopped and he's able to drag the toes. He's very nice. He can hit the brakes too, like after being at that take the top off speed and run these comebacks. That's also very impressive. I like Nico Collins a lot.
Well, like Mike, I think Mike Evans' fade. I think Nico Collins' post route is up there with Mike Evans' fade.
100%.
Like,
100%.
There's nothing more terrifying than a Nico Collins first play of the game post route.
that's what I was saying. He's scarier to me than like a London.
That's
'cause,
fair.
God, he can just.
How about
he can
what about
destroy
the JMO Yankee concept of one JMO post Amon-Ra crosser and it's play action? What's better than that? It basically is the whole fucking thing for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, it is money like every single time.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of.
It's really because of Gibbs, though.
Well, that's I was just gonna say that, and that's kind of part of my my Amon-Ra slander. It's like the most terrifying player on the Lions is Jahmyr Gibbs. and that is indisputable. Like, this offense flows through what Jahmyr Gibbs can do and the fearfulness that defensive fronts have. So when there's play action that heavily involved and Amon-Ra's heavy, like, I'm sorry, the more you talk about it, the more it's like, okay, you know what?
David Montgomery. Yeah, J-Mo has never touched the ball with David Montgomery in the back. It has never happened in his life.
Whatever. I'm just saying.
Merchant.
Tino said it, not me. Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of.
No, I said.
He's gonna edit that and clip it up,
Yeah.
just to his liking.
But Sewell is the most dangerous player on the Lions. I'd say.
Yes.
Yeah,
Except when Micah Parsons is across.
It's partially why like every like great Jahmyr Gibbs run off the top of my head is to the right side, or at least like right adjacent, where Panay was just dominating someone in front of him.
Sewell run blocking is quite scary. It's quite scary.
Just another guy that's more important, it sounds like, on that offense, to be honest with you.
Yes, the best lineman in the league
Goff,
is very important.
are you putting Goff above J-Mo and Amon-Ra?
No, I won't. I've been a notorious Goff hater, so I can't go that far. But
Shout out. You're on the right side of history.
yeah, I can't go that far. But I will say, we have a guy in our Discord named Walter. He's a very heavy film watcher. He thinks J-Mo is the best receiver on the Lions, I think he's made that claim a couple times.
I think part of it's jokingly, but I think it's
kind of serious.
I don't know.
I can't speak for him, but
I don't hate it. I think J-Mo praise is he struggles in certain ways. He struggles to like track it over his shoulder. Like he's more of
catch and stride merchant. Thank you.
Catch
Don't be
and
hitting that,
stride
like,
Catch
merchant.
and stride merchant. Yes, this is what I've been saying.
He's not gonna like moss you. He's kind of gadgety, but it's the big post, right? Like that's not that gadgety. It's just he's not really the traditional deep threat in the way that you think of like up the sideline, Jamar Chase, like go ball, he catches it and keeps going and it's a touchdown. It's all like he makes a cut and catches it and scores.
the fastest person in the sport, so he
Yeah.
can get away. He can kind of get away with some stuff.
Yeah, right. We don't need a go ball and you can take the jet sweep to the
Right.
Yeah.
what is it? Casa? The Bassa?
Yep.
What are people saying?
Casa apartments.
The Casa.
The crib. I think.
The Baja? I don't know.
What's that? What's that train?
I think that's a touchdown. I don't know.
In Spanish.
To the Baja. I don't know what it is. I'm from Northfield, Minnesota, and you guys are from Buffalo, so y'all don't know anything.
Well, he's
I don't know
Skyline
about
guy.
Baja.
He's Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm a Cincinnati guy.
Oh yeah, still.
Yeah, we know less.
We don't know
Yeah.
about slang. We don't know.
No, I'm Midwest
Yeah.
technically.
Is Buffalo the Midwest? Do you consider yourself that or East Coast?
No, we're East Coast. Definitely.
You're a
East
New
Coast.
Englander.
I've never been there.
No, New Englander. Don't put us in the same conversation, in the same boat. That's disrespectful.
Aren't you though? Technically.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the context. Sure. I'm just gonna say I find the Amon-Ra and J-Mo conversation very conflicting personally.
They both are terrible.
They're both.
Everyone on the
I
line
have
sucks.
agendas
Yeah.
for both. Of
They
these
did miss
guys.
the playoffs, so clearly there's frauds all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who missed? Didn't Panay miss time? Or am I wrong?
Penne every
Not that
week,
I know of.
every single week, Penne looked like he was out for the year last year. Like every single week, Penne would be down holding
That's
his
what it
ankle,
was.
and you'd be like, oh no, and then he would be back.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
That's what it was. I remember a cart coming out and everybody was like on a knee around him, but I think he played. Like,
he probably came back. That was a common thought that I had. But yeah,
well, I have no other thoughts. Does anybody else have a final take they want to squeeze in?
Do not.
I don't either.
Okay.
Freaked out.
Well, I think. Well, I'm not going to start that now. Jaden Higgins is going to break out, though. I'm going to say that. That's my
Okay.
last take. That's it. I'm not going to expand on it. Jaden Higgins. just put a sticky.
Just write that
put
down.
A sticky note
Yeah.
down somewhere, and just know that I put it out in the world.
Do not let him fall out of the third round of your fantasy draft.
No.
No, he's gonna be a better watch for the eyes than on the stat sheet, I think. But
Yeah, watch out for Tyler Lockett next year.
all right,
he's coming up.
He's due. Yeah.
Tyler Lockett's due. Is he even still playing? He
He
retired.
was
I don't think he's
on the
rostered currently.
Titans
Is he?
last year.
Yeah. I don't think he's rostered currently, sadly.
Poor guy. Gave his life to the Seahawks, and then they won a Super Bowl the year after he left. Poor guy. Well, that will do it for our receiver summit. We covered a lot of ground, which is the purpose of the summits. We don't want to just, do the same old boring lists, which, we kind of did, but we put our own spin on it. I think we had a lot of productive conversation. So if you guys enjoyed, definitely check out Theo's, all of his content down in the description below. Thank you again, Theo, for hopping on. This was an absolute joy. It was a great episode.
Yeah, any time. This was a blast.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad that you joined us, and it was.
Yeah, I'm sorry for not having the top 5 wide receiver threes.
It's okay.
Austin kind of said the same thing. He's like, "What did you say?"
We can talk about Torrey Horton another time.
Yeah,
it's okay.
That's another agenda of mine. I was like,
Yeah,
receiver threes.
hey,
I'm like, I want to talk about Torrey Horton, but he just didn't.
I like it.
Didn't get the time.
Brennan Thompson soon.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I also think that's a good fit with Justin Herbert. We don't have to see if we get into it. It's a whole other can of worms. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, like, comment, share, subscribe, and we have more surprises coming very soon. So definitely check it out, and we will see you in episode 113.